In this week's On My Shelf, I'm talking about a middle grade novel that was named a Newbery Honor Book a few weeks ago, a great resource for writers trying to navigate social media and the awesomeness that is 90s music. I try to read between 2 and 5 middle grade novels every month, mostly because that's the genre I like to write in, and the best way to learn a genre is to read in it. I recently finished The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley and was blown away by this lovely story. The story follows Jamie and Ada Smith, who are the children of a cruel woman. The novel is written around the historical time period of Britain's involvement in World War II, when cities were getting bombed by the Germans. Ada has a club foot, and because of it, her mother treats her like a monster and won't let her out of the house. She watches the world from her front window. But when the other children in their poor part of town start leaving because of the bomb threats, and their mother talks of sending her brother off and keeping Ada at home, Ada hatches a plan and steals out one early morning with her brother Jamie. They are placed with a woman named Susan in a country home, where Ada discovers a love for horses, and Jamie discovers a pet cat, and they both discover what it means to be loved in this unknown world, where they eat more than they've ever eaten before in their lives. The War That Saved My Life was a superbly written story, with so much emotion and wonder and ache. I highly recommend it. I also picked up The Tombs of Atuan, the second book in Ursula Le Guin's Earthsea Cycle series. I talked about the first book in this series in episode 9 of On My Shelf. The Tombs of Atuan follows the story of Tanar, a young girl who is taken from her family because she has chosen to become high priestess of the nameless powers of the earth. She loses her family, her possessions, her name, becoming, now, Arya. She lives alone in a drafty house near the dark tombs where no light is allowed. She forgets beauty and hope and identity for the sake of serving the powers of earth. But then her story collides with the wizard Ged, who has entered the labyrinth of her tombs to steal the greatest treasure, the ring of Ereth Akbi. He introduces her to light and magic and urges her to reach for freedom. This story was not only a fantastic spellbinding tale, but it was also one of the most beautifully written fantasy stories. I knew it would be, because A Wizard of Earthsea was much the same. If you're interested in going more in depth with stories like The War That Saved My Life or The Tombs of Atuan, I just started a book blog this year where I take apart the books I read and analyze passages and provide commentary on what I love about certain sentences and their structure. If you're a book nerd like me, I'd recommend checking it out. I've been immersing myself in the book Social Media for Writers: Marketing Strategies for Building Your Audience and Selling Books by T. Morris and Pip Ballantine, because I've read a few business books on how to use social media as a business, and I set up a pretty aggressive social media plan for the new year, and 2 weeks into it I felt completely overwhelmed. So now I'm looking at it not just from the perspective of a business person, but also as a writer, because there are some things I can make easier for myself. If you follow me on any of my social media channels, you'll notice that I've been posting much more frequently, which takes quite a bit of time, but is also necessary in the world we live in today. In order to post more frequently and more consistently, I've started using a service called CoSchedule, which gives me an editorial calendar and also hooks right up to my blogging platform, so it's easy enough to share any blog I want, even really old ones. It's one of the best services on the market, and I can definitely say that it's made this whole social media game much easier for me. Our baby just started walking. Every step he's taken has been a little bittersweet to me, because he's our last baby, and his growing up feels a little like my growing up, because we'll never be able to turn back time. So I just try to enjoy every moment with him, every little smile, every little joyful clap, every little slobbery kiss. Those baby days are hard, but there's nothing quite like them. I've started back up with submissions this year, and so far I've sent out a picture book to a few agents who might be interested in it. I still have one middle grade novel out on submission and plan to have several more to submit this year. I just have to say, though, that it is really difficult for me to sell myself. I feel like I'm constantly pulling against this urge to sell myself short and be sort of apologetic in my query letters, even after I've read over the manuscripts and told my husband, this is really good stuff. I'm really excited. When it comes time to putting that value on a page that will persuade agents and publishing houses to consider my manuscript, it's a challenging thing for me. So this is an area that needs to be improved, and I will be working on that improvement this year. I mentioned in last week's episode that I've begun brainstorming a young adult novel that takes place in the late 90s. I also mentioned that I've been listening to a 90s Pandora station and how this is good music. We've been playing it around the house too, and our kids hate it. I don't care. I get to hear bands like Oasis sing Champagne Supernova, and the Goo Goo Dolls sing Name, and Incubus sing Drive. So, whatever. I'll keep listening to it, and my kids will keep complaining until one day they realize that this is where the good music is, back when their parents were kids. I'm actually listening to it right now on some secret headphones. Do I sound cooler? For more about me or my books, sign up for my email newsletter, where I share an inside look at life and projects I'm working on and the current novel of the year. If you have any questions about writing or books, or how I managed to run a writing career with 6 little ones, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them in future episodes. For more on my shelf, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.